The sun is shining down on Oxford, and we are in the ballpark for this non-conference tilt between the Miami RedHawks and the visiting Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Miami is coming off their first winning weekend of the season as they nabbed 2 of 3 from Northern Illinois, and they're looking to keep it rolling going into this mid-week tilt. Let's take a look at the Oakland starting lineup. The Golden Grizzlies are 7-10 on the season, and batting leadoff in left field will be Drew Collins. Batting second in right field, John Loninger. Gabe Lux will be batting in the 3-hole. He's playing first base. Thomas Green is at shortstop. He's batting cleanup. Ian Clearly, he's the designated hitter. He's batting 5th. Luke Malmanger is at third base. He's batting 6th. Peter Jelinek is at second base in the 7-hole. Brandon Heidel behind the dish. He's batting 8th. Reggie Bussey is anchoring this lineup. He's out in center field. On the bump for the Miami RedHawks, Tyler Chadwick. A midweek start for the typical weekend starter. On the young season, he's got 11 2/3 innings pitch. He's struck out 4 batters, has walked 17. He's got an 8.49 ERA. More on Chadwick in a little bit, but we are just moments away from first pitch. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. First pitch swinging for Drew Collins as he trickles one down the left field line. Drew Collins, the left-handed swinger. On the season, he's batting .225. He's got a .904 OPS. He takes the 0-1 for a called ball. Chadwick, drafted in the 19th round last year, a transfer to Miami, still trying to find his way. Had a very strong fall and preseason. Oakland coming in with a 7-10 record. Here's the 2-1. The 2-2 offering from Chadwick to Collins misses low and in. 94 miles an hour on the gun. Collins hunched over the plate. The payoff pitch chops one in the hole to Cooper Weiss. He's on his slide, opts to hold it himself, and that's a leadoff single for the Golden Grizzlies. Let's take you through the Miami defensive alignment. In the battery with Tyler Chadwick will be David Novak. Out at first base, getting the start is Steven Krause. On the right side of the infield, also getting a surprise start, Blake Buzzio. On the left side, you've got Cooper Weiss and the third baseman, Evan Applewick. Out in the pasture, Nate Stone in left, Zach McDonald in center. Benji Brokemond is in right field. So the first pitch to the 2-hole, John Loninger, is in there for a called strike. Bit of wind here today on this Tuesday. 57 degrees at start, very sunny day. This ball gets through the legs of David Novak, and Collins is going to have second base. He takes a hard round around second. Heads back to the bag. And you can hear the wind howling in our crowd mic. John Loninger on the season, a .222 hitter. Sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona. The outfielder, 6 foot tall, 182 pounds, awaits the 2-1 from Chadwick. Chadwick kick, deals, misses on the inside, a fastball. I couldn't find it. 93 on the gun, and it's 3-1. Chadwick takes a peek at Collins, who's got a very strong lead out at second base. And it's a leadoff single, then a walk to the 2-hole, which will bring Gabe Lux up to the plate with runners on first and second and nobody away. And this has been the problem for Chadwick. Walking a lot of batters. We mentioned 17 walks in 11 innings pitched. Just 4 strikeouts. Gabe Lux, the leading hitter for this team. 18 hits and 56 at-bats. He's got 7 RBIs. He's batting .321. Taking a check on Collins out at second, not in time. Buzzio throws it back to Chadwick. Chadwick's a commanding presence out there on the bump. Stands in at 6'5", 225 pounds. Very strong. Misses on the first pitch to Lux. Lux, not the typical build of a starting first baseman. 5'10", 186 pounds. He shows bunt, pulls it back on the 1-0. Looking like he might be just trying to advance the runners or hide the strike zone from Chadwick. Infield playing pretty much straight up Evan Applewick. Novak on the back pick on the ball in the turf. No good. Collins too quick, gets back to second base in time. Drew Collins 3 for 4 on stolen base attempts, and he's got a very sizable lead out at second base. Evan Applewick takes a few steps behind the bag here on the 2-1. Gabe Lux chops one, but it gets through the infield, sending Drew Collins around third and heading for home. The throw from the left fielder, not in time. Nate Stone's throw doesn't get Drew Collins, and the Golden Grizzlies take an early 1-0 lead. So 2 base knocks through the 6-hole and a walk have the Golden Grizzlies up in action here in the top of the first inning at McKee Field at Hayden Park. Thomas Green now steps in. Thomas Green, the leader on the Golden Grizzlies in RBIs, 14 tallied. He's got 3 big flies. The redshirt senior from Canada is having a great senior season. 6 foot tall. Top of this Golden Grizzlies lineup, a little undersized, but they've shown to be a feisty bunch here in the top of the first. 0-2 count to Thomas Green. Chadwick quickly gets, and Green sends one through the 6-hole again. This time they'll hold up the runner that is Loninger at third base, and the bases are juiced for Aaron Cleary. 3 base hits in this inning, almost identical to one another. That time coming from the right-handed swinging Ian Cleary. And once again, Tyler Chadwick and the Miami RedHawks are in trouble. Cleary, the designated hitter, awaits the first pitch from Chadwick. This misses upstairs. The wind blowing about 6 miles an hour to the north, and it's blowing out of this ballpark. Saw a lot of big flies in warm-ups. The 1-0 misses in the turf. Novak does a nice job at keeping that in front of him. Had to reach across his entire body. It brings it to 2-0. Chadwick coming set. The 2-0 offering. Misses upstairs, and Chadwick on the precipice of walking in a run. And the 3-0 misses. It's 2-0. Three base knocks, 2 walks. And we're going to have our first meeting of the minds out on the pitcher's mound. So Tyler Chadwick, this is his 5th appearance on the year. Went just 2/3 of an inning against Georgia Tech, in which he gave up 8 runs, 2 of which were earned. Against North Alabama, he went 1 1/3 innings pitched, gave up 6 runs, 3 earned. Siena went 4 2/3 innings, 5 runs given up, 3 earned. And Toledo, just last week, Went 3 innings, 3 earned runs. And it's not just been the walk. Sometimes the defense has not been able to help him out. As he's given up 11 earned runs. He's given up 22 runs as a total. The first pitch to Malmanger. Misses downstairs. The third baseman ahead in the count. .1-0 swinging, comes up empty. 6'3", 240 pounds, from Janesville, Wisconsin. Redshirt senior, batting .244 on the young season. It's 2-1. Lux at third, Green at second, Cleary over at first. The corners are in for Miami. And Malmanger comes up empty on the 2-1. The 2-2 offering, swung on and missed, and Miami gets the first out of the inning. So now we'll see Peter Jelinek. Chadwick trying to keep this game right at a 2-0 hole. A ground ball up the middle could help his case. Chadwick already ready as this gets by David Novak. Bounced in front of the plate. A run will score, and the runners on first and second move up to second and third. So plate Gabe Lux and give the Grizzlies a 3-0 lead. And without the force out at second, the infield will come in. Cooper Weiss and Blake Buzzio will have their toes on the grass cutout of the turf. Jelinek waits on the 2-0, fouls it over the Hayden Baseball Center. The 2-1 is fouled off of Jelinek's front ankle. Saw that. Jay Myers, home plate umpire, called that right away. As did Aaron Rachlow, the umpire out at second base. The 2-2. Chops it away. And the one thing that Miami's pitching staff has done in the early year has been able to strike out their opponents at a very high rate. They could use a K right here. And they got it. Got Jelinek to chase on the fastball upstairs for the second out. And now you'll see the starting catcher, Brandon Heidel. So back-to-back Ks. And Chadwick dealing with the 8-hole, still in danger of giving up some more runs as two loom large at second and third. Not out of the woods yet. As the 1-0 misses downstairs. Still filling it in there in the mid-90s, 93 miles an hour on that fastball. The 2-0 misses downstairs, and Chadwick looking to walk the 8-hole. And there for a called strike. Novak almost loses it, and does, in fact, lose it, but holds the runner at third in Thomas Green. So bring it to the hitter's count of 3-1. Chadwick on the comeback there. Not a whole lot of chemistry between Chadwick and Novak here in this top half of the first inning. 3-1 misses in the turf, and that'll bring up the 9-hole. Reggie Busey So Bussey steps into the batter's box. 273 hitter. First pitch taken all the way in there for a called strike. Just his 23rd at-bat on the season, his 10th start. And he'll line one into left center field. That'll plate at least 2 runs. Coming around third and heading for a home is a 3rd run. Play at third base for Bussey. Not in time. A 3-run triple from the 9-hole. It's 6-0. So Thomas Green, Ian Cleary, and Brandon Heidel all score on the triple from Reggie Bussey, and he put it on the perfect place on the turf, right beyond Cooper Weiss's head at shortstop, and it was out to run. Makes it a 6-0 ball game. He had 1 RBI coming into today in his 10 starts, but he comes up in a big way here in the top half of the first. So we're back to the top half of the order, and Drew Collins, he got this whole thing started with a single in the 6-hole. He came around and scored. The 1-1's in there for a called strike. Tries to get Collins to chase on the fastball up. Says, no, sir. We'll do it at 2-2. Two-two offering. Chadwick comes set. Kicks, deals, chopping over to Blake Buzzio at second base. He'll get it on the 3rd hop. Flip it over to Steven Krause. And the inning finally ends, but not before the Golden Grizzlies score 6 runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, and 2 wild pitches. We'll be back here at McKee Field. Welcome back to McKee Field at Hayden Park. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live. Let's take you through the Miami RedHawks starting lineup. Leading off and playing right field, Benji Brocamont. In center field, Zach McDonald. Cooper Weiss is batting 3-hole. He's at shortstop. Brian Zapp getting the start. And the cleanup spot, he's the designated hitter. David Novak is the catcher. He's batting in the 5-hole. Nate Stone out in left field. He's batting 6. Steven Krause, 7-hole. He's playing first base. Blake Buzzio in the 8-hole. He's playing second. And Evan Applewick, he's getting the anchor spot. He's playing third. Sean Facchetti is the starting pitcher for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, and a lot to tell you about him. But on the young season, this is just Facchetti's 4th appearance, 7 2/3 innings pitched. He's got 3 strikeouts, 6 walks under his belt. And he's got an 0-1 record. So Benji Brocamont steps into the batter's box. chops one out to the third baseman. Malmanger gets it on the big hop, catches it on a fly, throws it over to Lux for the first out. So let's take you through the Golden Grizzlies' defensive alignment. In the battery with Facchetti is Brandon Heidel. Over at first base is Gabe Lux. Peter Jelinek is over at second base. On the left side of the infield, Thomas Green and Luke Malmanger. Out in the outfield from left to right, Collins, Bussey, Loninger. So now we'll see Zach McDonald. He's been one of the bright spots in this Miami RedHawks lineup to begin this year. Batting .316. 5 home runs already on the young season. Trailing only Rylan Zabarowski, who was a late scratch in today's game. Facchetti on the 1-1. Sidewinders. You saw the slider right there. Gets around on the pitch. Typically when you see a pitcher come from that arm slot, you're going to see run on his fastball as well. As he comes inside to McDonald, he's struggling finding the strike zone. It's a 3-1 count to the center fielder. A 3-1 misses up and in, and Miami has their first base runner of the day as Cooper Weiss steps into the batter's box. So Facchetti is a native of Budapest, Hungary. And that's not the only place he's visited. He actually went to high school in Dubai and is the first person from Dubai to get a Division I scholarship for baseball. So he's been around the world. Cooper Weiss tries the push bunt, but Gabe Lux is right there to field it. He'll scramble over to first base for the second out. So trying to catch the Golden Grizzlies sleeping, but instead it just turns into a quick out. And we'll see Brian Zapp step into the batter's box with Zach McDonald on second base. Facchetti gets the sign from Heidel. Comes set. Kicks. Deals. Fastball runs away from Zapp. And you can see it kind of trickling its way away from a left-handed batter in Zapp. The 1-0. Zapp showing bunt again. So Malmanger's playing about 20 feet off the third base bag as they have the full shift on. Thomas Green is to the right of second base. And Peter Jelinek's out in shallow right field. The 2-1 trails away from the strike zone. It's 3-0. We'll see if Zapp's taking on this 3-0 offering. Kicks, deals, fouled straight back. So had the green light, offered at it, but we'll do it at 3-1. Typically, lefties hit well against right-handed pitchers, but when a righty comes down from the three-quarter slot or from the sidearm slot, they typically have a little bit more of an advantage as they can run it away from a left-handed pitcher. But he runs it right into the pellets in the turf, and we'll put a runner on first and second with 2 away. So Facchetti walks McDonald and Zapp, and now we'll see the starting catcher, David Novak. Novak was a first-team All-Max selection last season, though he struggled here in the early months of 2023. He sends one into center field for a base knock. Rounding third, heading for home is Zach McDonald. And Miami gets on the board thanks to the base knock from David Novak. He sees 2 batters in front of him walk. He's not shied away as he's first pitch swinging. And we'll put runners on first and second, 2 away for Nate Stone. So despite giving up 6 in the top half of the inning, Miami answers back. It's always good just to put a little more pressure on your opponent after giving up a crooked number. So Nate Stone struggling here in March. 2 for 26. A .077 batter. Running, heading for third is Zap. He'll take it with ease, and moving into second is David Novak. That's not the first time we've seen Brian Zap take third. This Miami team, as an entire program, often swipes an extra 30 feet from second to third. Some programs think it's even easier than stealing second. Get a bigger jump, can read it better. The 1-1 misses up and away. So runners in scoring position for Stone. Stone was an everyday player 2 seasons ago, but was hurt in the first weekend last year. Looking to make his statement on the comeback. Three and one's the count to Stone. 2 away, 2 on. Trying to inch Miami closer here in the bottom half of the first. Swinging, chops one down the first base line, but will run it full. The payoff pitch to Stone. He sends it for a ride into shallow right center field. Nobody there to make the play. It falls in no man's land, and 2 runs will score. Reggie Bussey, the center fielder, and Loninger out in right field didn't come in to make that play as it floated all the way to the middle of the M on the turf out in center field. In fact, the closest fielder to make that play was Peter Jelinek. So plate 2 more runs here in the bottom half of the first. It's 6-3, and the RedHawks are still threatening with Steven Krause at the plate. Slider working away from Krause. He's a very aggressive hitter. One of the captains on this team. Played in 48 games last year. Hit 7 big flies. 287 hitter. They'll shift to the left side of the infield. Thinking about moving from second to third is Nate Stone, but wisely stays put at second base as the pitch scrambles away from the catcher Heidel. So back-to-back hits have plated 3 runs. Can Krause keep it moving? Slider out in front of it. And showing what Krause has offered at from 2 of Faquete's sliders. You got to imagine he's coming back with it here on the 1-2. Wind blowing directly out to center field. Two-seam fastball. Trying to catch the outside, just misses. So we'll run it to 2-2. Kicks, deals, slider. Krause gets a piece of it, pops it into foul territory. Luck's over to make the play. He'll have it for the 3rd out. But Miami plates 3 runs on 2 hits, 2 walks. We head to the 2nd inning. It's 6-3 here on Love and Honor Live. Top of the second here at McKee Field. You're watching Chatterbox Sports 234 due up for the Golden Grizzlies. John Loninger, Gabe Lux, Thomas Green, Tyler Chadwick out for another inning of work, and the first pitch gets by David Novak. 1-0. Interesting first inning. 9 runs plated, 6 by Oakland, 3 from Miami. Loninger, one of the runs plated. As he walked, came around and scored. It's a 1-1. Miami in the pinstripe bottoms. They've got the red tops rolling today. Loninger shows bunt, puts it on the ground, coming up to make the play. Evan Applewick fields it, throws it over to Steven Krause for the first out. Applewick, a utility infielder. We've seen him start at second. We've seen him start at third, depending on the situation. Wasn't in the starting lineup today till a late scratch of Rylan Zabarowski put him in there. So now we'll see Gabe Lux. Gabe Lux came around and scored. Oakland, there in black jerseys, gray bottoms, have a cream stripe, gold and cream. Couldn't decide to swing at the 1-1 as he falls behind. Chadwick ready for some action. Here's the 1-2 offering. It misses in the turf. Chadwick has had problems this year, not just finding the strike zone, but when he misses in the turf, way wide, not challenging the batters frequently. The 2-2 is a breaking ball that comes back down to earth, freezes Lux for the second out, and a good comeback here, getting the first 2 batters in the top half of the second. And that's been one of the big bugaboos for Miami in the young season. They have been unable to get the first batter out in innings. We saw it in the top half of the first inning last week against Toledo. In 27 innings, over half of the innings, the leadoff man reached a board. Two 2-0 here to Thomas Green. Green singled through the 6-hole, came around and scored later on. And he'll send one down the third baseline right beyond the outreach glove of Evan Applewick. He'll have extra bases. Holding up at second base as the left fielder Nate Stone gets it in before Thomas Green can push for 3. It's a 2-out double for Oakland. Ian Cleary steps in. He walked his first time aboard. Came around and scored. See if Chadwick can zero in and get the third out. This is a base hit to left field that gets beyond the glove of Nate Stone. Another extra base hit. And the score is Green, and coasting to second base is Aaron Cleary. It's 7-3. Luke Malmanger steps in. Back-to-back extra base hits after Chadwick gets the first 2 batters of the inning retired. Looking to keep this game at 7-3 and get back in the dugout. Miami has an arm up and working in the bullpen. Another base knock. rounding third, heading for home. There might be a play. Zach McDonald's throw is cut off, and Oakland takes an 8-3 lead thanks to the base hit from Luke Malmanger. So after retiring Loninger and Lux, back-to-back-to-back two-out hitting from Oakland gives them 2 more runs. This is another base knock from the Golden Grizzlies. Rounding second, heading for third is Malmanger. The throw from McDonald just offline. And the big fella slides into third. Put runners on the corners for Peter Jelinek. So Tyler Chadwick's woes continue here in the young season. We mentioned last week was the first weekend series where he didn't get his start. They shifted him here to the midweek. And trying to get through this second inning. Brandon Heidel steps into the batter's box, and they're going to go to a new arm. So we'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have a right-handed pitcher to tell you about. Stay tuned. You're watching Love and Honor Live. Welcome back to Oxford, Ohio. 8-3 our score here in the top half of the second, and a new arm to tell you about. It's the right-hander, Lawson Blackmore. Blackmore, a senior out of Van Wert, Ohio, 6 foot tall, 6'5", 205 pounds. This is his third appearance on the season. He's got 3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs given up, and 3 Ks. Put runners on the corner for Blackmore. And Brandon Heidel stepping into the batter's box. He inherits 2 runners. Mallinger and Peter Jelinek on the corners. And finds the first pitch for a strike. Blackmore, similar build to Chadwick. Not as explosive of stuff, but slowly finding his way into more and more opportunities for this pitching staff. Jelinik's up and moving, foul tip, as Jelinek will take second base with easy. So 2 runners in scoring position. And Blackmore has Brandon Heidel in a well. Blackmore comes set, kicks, deals, fouled, out of play. Lawson Blackmore led his hometown Van Wert Cougars to the state Final Four back in 2019 in his senior year. He comes set. Here's the 0-2. Multi-sport athlete for the Cougs. The 1-2 offering. Slider that Heidel just gets a piece of. 80 miles an hour on the gun. Oakland plated 6 runs in the top half of the first, 2 in the second. Threatening with 2 more here and 2 away. And Blackmore comes out of the pen and gets a big strikeout for the RedHawks. We head to the bottom half of the second inning. It's 8-3. Bottom of the second here in Oxford, Ohio. 8-3 our score. Due up for the RedHawks. Blake Buzzio, Evan Applewick, then back to the top half of the order. New arm to tell you about for Oakland. It's Dylan Haslett. This is his 4th appearance on the season. 4 1/3 innings pitched. He struck out 1, walked 2, giving up 2 earned runs. He's got a 4.15 ERA. So Facchetti gave up 3 runs in his 1 inning of work. Close the book on him. You can also close the book for the other starting pitcher today. Tyler Chadwick went 1 2/3 innings pitched. Gave up 8 hits, 8 runs, 8 earned runs. Walked 4, struck out 3. He's currently in line for the loss. So once again, Miami looking to answer back in the bottom half. Blake Buzzio steps into the batter's box. Not an everyday player for Miami. In fact, this is just his 3rd start of the season and just his 6th at-bat. Dylan Haslett, a freshman out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Gets Buzzio to swing at the 1-0, coming up empty. Went to Cathedral High School. Athletics powerhouse there in Indianapolis. Plenty of great collegiate athletes. Some professional have come to the doors of Cathedral. Hazlitt finds the back of Blake Buzzio. And now we'll see Evan Applewick. So we mentioned Evan Applewick wasn't originally due to start today, as Rylan Zabarowski was originally in the lineup. But with the late scratch, Evan Applewick gets in. Applewick, though batting .241 on the young season, has an on-base percentage of .465, continuously just piecing together great at-bats. Applewick is a redshirt freshman out of South Dakota, went to IMG Academy. Those three letters alone will let you know what kind of an athlete he is. 1-0's in there for a called strike from Hazlitt. 1-1. Applewick looking to reach aboard, turn over the lineup for Benji Brokmond, who's in the on-deck circle. 1-1 is in there for a called strike. Off-speed pitch, registering at 77 miles an hour. Buzzio, modest lead over at first base. Hazlitt comes set. And the turf out in front of the catcher, Heidel. His throw to second base not in time. Great read from Buzzio. And actually a fantastic job by Heidel behind the plate. Hopping on the ball in the turf. And actually delivering a nice strike to second base. Buzzio just too quick. 2-2. Off-speed pitch. Applewick out in front of it. Trickles it on the ground. Thomas Green comes up to make the play. Throws it on the run over to first for the first out. So a 6-3 put out. Doesn't move the runner over to third base. The off-speed pitch got Applewick out in front. So now you'll see Benji Brokmond. Brokmond had on the 5-3 put out his first time around. First pitch curveball, and man, is that a change of pace. 67 miles an hour, and that's why Applewick was so far out in front of it. Hazlitt stands tall when he toes the rubber. Almost leans his back backwards as this gets by Heidel. Heidel popped up to make the throw over to third base as Buzzio was trying to swipe third. And it looked like they might have even gotten crossed up. So move Buzzio to third. Oakland playing back with a 5-run lead. They'll take it out for a run. The 2-0 to Brokmond. Bounces in front of home plate. Runs the count to 3-0. Hazlitt comes set. Missing downstairs. Brokmond walks, which will bring up Zach McDonald. Zach McDonald, 15 RBIs on the season. Got an OPS over 1. One of 3 batters in this Miami lineup. I could say that. The other being Rylan Zabarowski and Cooper Weiss. Hazlitt's 0-0 offering is that slow curveball that McDonald takes from the get-go. That's a get-him-over pitch for Hazlitt. The 0-1. In there for a called strike. Changes the speeds once again. This time change up on the outside. Runners on the corner for McDonald. 0-2 count. One away here in the bottom half of the second. The sun peeking through the clouds once again. We saw it when we were setting up here at McKee Field, but it has been overcast since first pitch. Infield shifting to the left side of the infield on McDonald. As Peter Jelinek, the second baseman, is 6 steps to the left of second base. The 1-2 offering. Chopped out to the second baseman, Green. Flips it over to Jelinek, trying for the turn, not in time. As McDonald's legs beats out the double play. Played a run, it's 8-4. And what did they call? They're going to say Benji Brokmond slid in to the second baseman. So they call out Zach McDonald on the runner's interference. And we head to the top half of the third as Coach Hayden and the third base umpire Lyle Travis talk this one out. Stay tuned. You're watching Chatterbox Sports. So welcome back to McKee Field at Hayden Park. The run is still on the board. We're not sure here in the press box what the official call was. I guess we know what the call is. It's runner interference, just whether or not the run is plated. They do take it off the board, so it is 8-3. Lawson Blackmore out for another inning of relief work. He'll face Reggie Bussey in the top half of this Oakland lineup. So I mentioned this the last game that I saw Lawson Blackmore pitch. It is drawing me back to the times of my first job out of college when I worked for the Van Wert Times Bulletin, his hometown's newspaper. And Lawson was a senior basketball player and the ace pitcher on the team. And hearing that he eventually was going to go to Miami, got to know Lawson a little bit back when he was a senior. They made a nice run in basketball to the district championship. And in the state semifinals, he was the ace on that squad. Lost to Dayton Chaminade Julian before the Eagles went on to win their second state title. Reggie Bussey had a 3-run triple his last time aboard. Blackmore comes set. Gets Bussey out in front of that 2-0. A 2-1 is day late and $1 short. 2-2. Bussey awaits the 2-2 from Blackmore as the sun is shining clearly on Hayden Park. Run the count full. Blackmore appeared in 6 games last year. 13.5 ERA. Bussy fouls it back. We'll do it again on the 3-2. Got his first career win last year against Northern Illinois. And we mentioned Miami coming away, taking 2 of 3 from Northern Illinois this past weekend. Blackmore walks Bussy, so the leadoff runner is aboard. And we head back to the top of the order. It's Drew Collins. Collins' first pitch swinging. Way late on that fastball from Blackmore. Collins, 1 for 2 at the plate today. Came around and scored back in the first inning. Another pitch blown by Collins. And the left-handed swinging left fielder finds himself in an 0-2 hole. The 0-2. Swung on and missed. Sit down Collins for the first out here. This Oakland team comes in with a 7-10 record. Though they have been well challenged. Played a 4-game series in the Big 12 against the University of Kansas. In that 4-game series, they were able to take 1. And went on up to Wichita, Kansas to play at X Stadium. They took the first of 3 against the Shockers. If you haven't seen X Stadium, it's one of the jewels in college baseball. And just a couple weeks ago, they traveled up to Ann Arbor and took on the Blue as they beat the Michigan Wolverines 4-1. Busey running on the 1-0, fouled back. He'll head back to first. Bussy has attempted 7 stolen bases, has only nabbed 3. So has not been very successful at swiping an extra 90. You typically like to stay in the north of 80 percentile range of stealing bases. Bussy well below that. The 1-2 freezes Loninger for the strikeout. And now we'll see the 3-hole, Gabe Lux. Jay Myers having a talk with the Oakland coaching staff about the pace of play. Blackmore was trying to rush Loninger in the box. And this has been a battle as old as the game itself. The battle of timing and the disruption of timing between the batter and the pitcher. And with the new pitch clock implementation, you're going to see just a new phase in that constant war. For a lot of pitchers, it's often one of the best tools in their toolbox, and that is just being ready to roll on the mound, working with great pace. You typically see pitchers that throw a lot of strikes, contact pitchers, try to disrupt the timing more so than strikeout pitchers. Lux 1 for 2 today at the plate. Singled, came around and scored back in the first. He struck out looking his last time. Blackmore checks on Bussy over at first. Bussey trying to time the delivery of Blackmore. The 1-1's in there for a called strike. 90 miles an hour on the outside. Blackmore comes set, delivers the 1-2, tries to get Lux to go chasing. Not today. We'll run it to 2-2. The wind has shifted directions, was blown out to dead center. Now it's blown out to left center. The 2-2 for the left-handed swinging Lux. Bussey on the move, fouled. So he'll have to retreat back to first. Second time he's had to retreat on a stolen base attempt. Never a fun jog back. The 2-2. Tries for the 12-6. Can't get it to 6 enough. Full count, so Bussey's going to be up and moving with 2 away. Steven Krause going to move away from the bag. The payoff pitch. And ball 4. So put runners on first and second for Thomas Green. And Thomas Green has had a day already. Singled in the first, doubled in the second. Came around and scored in both innings. And Oakland has been able to muster up a threat here in the third. Infield playing straight up against Green. Blackmore falls behind. Jay Myers missed the strike according to the trackman here at McKee Field. The 1-0 misses upstairs, and now Blackmore's in trouble. Popped up, but it'll go out of play. Bussey at second, Lux at first. Infield playing straight up here in the top half of the third of this 8-3 ball game. The 2-1 finds the strike zone. Froze Green on the slider. That came back in the zone. Fouled back. So though Blackmore has 2 Ks in this inning, hasn't been missing many bats. He froze Loninger, did get Drew Collins to go down swinging, but when these Oakland batters are offering at the pitches that Lawson is offering, they're often getting a piece of it. The 2-2 and the dirt. So the runners will be up and moving. Only play will be at first base in the infield. Perhaps more importantly, a ball in the gap plates 2 runs now. The payoff pitch. Called strike 3. Blackmore freezes Thomas Green. Gets his 3rd strikeout of the inning. And now Miami has a chance to get the sticks out. It's 8-3 as we head to the bottom of the third here on Love and Honor Live. Cooper Weiss, Brian Zapp, David Novak due up for the Miami RedHawks here in the bottom half of the third. And the Johnny Allstaff continues for Oakland. On the mound for the Golden Grizzlies, Jackson Easterling. This is his fourth appearance on the year. He's got a 4.15 ERA. He's pitched in 4 1/3 innings. He's got 5 Ks. He's given up 2 earned runs. So a day to really test out the arms in the bullpen for Oakland. And he'll face the middle of this RedHawks lineup. So Cooper Weiss steps into the batter's box. The leading hitter on this RedHawks team. Batting .322. The infield is shifted to the left side of the bag. We saw him try to push a bunt to pass the pitcher. Hits a one-hopper out to Thomas Green at shortstop. He throws it over to Lux. He scoops it out of the turf for the first out. So Cooper Weiss has seen 2 pitches this ball game and 2 at-bats. Brian Zapp steps in. And now the infield will shift over to the right side of the field. Zapp trying to push it by Easterling, a la what Cooper Weiss tried to do back in the first inning. And the idea is with no one in the infield, if you could just get it by Easterling on the pitcher's mound, you've got an easy base knock. And you'll see mound manager move about 4 steps to his left to get in more of a bunting play. 2-1's the count to Zapp. Zapp hasn't started every game, though he's been a productive bat in the middle of the lineup when he does. Just his 14th start. Primarily facing off against right-handed pitching. The 2-2 to Zapp. Misses on the outside, run it full. Zapp's getting on base about 48% of the time. And when he does get on base, he's leading the team in stolen bases. Zapp sends one for a right out to right center field. It rattles up against the wall for extra bases. Zapp rounding second, heading for third. Got a play. He slides in safely for the one-out triple. Brian Zapp with his first triple of the season, his 5th extra base hit. And Miami's threatening here in the bottom half of the third. David Novak brought in 2 runs with a single to center field his last time around. We mentioned he was a first-team all-conference selection a year ago behind the dish. Not an everyday starter anymore. And well, let's say he needed that hit back in the first inning. Batting .190 coming into this ball game. 8 hits and 42 at-bats. And just 6 RBIs. The 1-1. Flared over the second baseman's head for a bloop base knock, and Novak is 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. Eight to 4 our score. Nate Stone steps in, And the infield will shift to the right side of the field. Nate Stone with a base knock his last time around. Here's the 1-1. Stone showing a bunt. And because of the way they're aligning Nate Stone, if he could just put it to the left side of the field, he'll have a base hit. Mound manager's playing practically double play depth for a shortstop as the third baseman. Stone does try to lay one down, but tries to push it too closely to the line, and it's foul. And the one thing you got to remember when they are shifting against you and you're trying to bunt is it doesn't take the perfect bunt to get the base knock. It just has to be to the left of the pitcher. The 2-2. Freezes Stone. Ball low and in. The payoff. Stone goes chasing. And he'll go down swinging. So now the senior, Steven Krause, steps in. Trying to get funky with the walk-up music. And I do wonder in this day and age, as the infield shifts to the left of second base, how, if the infielders have to get used to playing from just various positions, as Steven Krause puts one on the ground, mound manager backhands it, throws it over to Lux at first. For the third and final out, Miami plates a run. Thanks to the base knock of David Novak and the triple from Brian Zapp. It's 8-4. As we head to the fourth inning. To the top of the fourth, Lawson Blackmore back out for the RedHawks. The right-handed pitcher hung a 0 for the first time this ball game. We're at McKee Field at Hayden Park. It's midweek action, non-conference action on Love and Honor Live. Our first of 5 games this week. We'll be back tomorrow as Wright State comes into Oxford. Miami looking to avenge their loss from earlier this month. Then this weekend, the girls get after it, as they'll have a 3-game series in MAC play. First pitch swinging deep to right field, rattling up against the wall. Ian Cleary, as it is an automatic double for the Golden Grizzlies. His second double of the game. So Luke Malmanger steps up to the plate. First pitch swinging, free and Cleary. And Oakland just refusing to take their foot off the gas. Malmanger singled home a run his last time to center field. Showing bunt here in this 8-4 ball game. He takes the 0-1 downstairs. Surprising to see Malmanger bunt. He's already got a base knock. And Oakland has an 8-4 lead. And once again, he squares around. Called strike. Indecisive. But really deep down, he just didn't want to bunt. He's like, let me swing here. The 1-2. Blackmore kicks, deals. Malmanger comes up short for the first out of the inning. So if you heard me earlier, Caudier and Cleary's double, an automatic double. One of the most misconceptions about baseball is that being called a ground rule double. That is not a ground rule because that's not a ground rule to the home field. It's just a rule of the game. First pitch swinging is Peter Jelinek. Hits it into shallow left field. Stone's underneath it. He'll have it for the second out. But oftentimes, regardless of that fact, people still call it the ground rule double because you almost feel like the kid at the sleepover saying, oh, it's tomorrow after the clock strikes midnight. Brandon Heidel steps into the batter's box. Heidel 0 for 1, walked, came around and scored back in the first. He also struck out. Blackmore, after giving the leadoff double, retired quickly the next two batters he faced and is trying to get back in the dugout as he throws a breaking pitch to Heidel that he takes for a called strike. It's 1-1. Swung on and missed. The 1-2 from Blackmore. Another K from the Van Wert native. We head to the bottom of the fourth here on Love and Honor Live. Jackson Easterlin back out for another inning of work. Bottom of the fourth inning here, and the sun once again peeking through the milk in the clouds. 8-9-1 due up for Miami. Blake Buzzio, Evan Applewick, Benji Brokamon. As Miami tails the Golden Grizzlies by 4. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like the stream. It helps the stream reach a bigger audience. If you enjoy daily sports content, well, we have it for you. As Monday through Friday, 10 to noon, Thom Brennaman goes live on Off the Bench. Produced by Casey McAllister and Paul Fritchner. We also have other daily shows. Box Lunch, Not Too Picky, The Mental Game. So be sure to look around our channel. Surely have something you like. So Blake Buzzio was hit by a pitch his first time to the plate. Awaits a 3-1 from Jackson Easterlin. Speaking of the producers, Casey McAllister typically produces this broadcast. Taking a day off, Paul Fritchner filling in the reins. He's doing a fantastic job. So if you see any graphics that just don't make sense, please just tweet at Paul Fritchner. Put a runner on first base as Blake Buzzio has done a nice job at the bottom half of the order at reaching a board, and we'll see Evan Applewick. Applewick way out in front of a curveball his last time around. I've developed a bit of a crush at the way that Evan Applewick has approached the batter's box this season. Constantly working long at bats, doesn't chase a whole lot. And he's got one of the highest on-base percentages on the team because of it. Blake Buzzio moving as Evan Applewick sends a missile out to right field. Quickly retreating to first base. Buzzio gets back in time. So Applewick stings a ball to right center field, but has nothing to show for it, and we'll see Benji Brokemont. But not to belabor the point I just made, Applewick, despite having the infield shifting to the left side of the field, sends a missile to the right side. And this time we'll see Buzzio up and moving again. Benji Brokemont swings, comes up empty. Buzzio takes second base with ease. Brokemont sported a 10-game hitting streak that came to an end last week against Toledo. One of the more consistent bats in this lineup. Despite his size, still shows some pop. As he falls behind in 0-2. 5 extra base hits and 72 at-bats. He's got 20 hits as a whole. The 0-2. Called strike 3 on Benji Brokemont. And we'll see Zach McDonald. McDonald walked, came around and scored his first time. Last time he hit a ground ball and beat out the double play, but they called him out because of runner's interference. So that ended the inning and didn't allow Miami to play to run in the second. Easterlin comes set. Try to pick off Buzzio out at second base. Jelinek, the second baseman, actually there on the play, as he is scouting just behind Buzzio in the center of the field. Zach McDonald way out in front of it, just caps the ball. Grazed the chin hairs off that leather. Easterlin comes set. Heidel setting up on the outside half of the plate. Myers doesn't pull the trigger on the 0-2. So we'll do it at 1-2. Despite setting up on the left side of the infield, they're still working away from McDonald, trying to stay away from his barrel as Heidel once again sets up on the outside half. McDonald fouls it straight back. We'll do it again. And the turf, great job behind the dish by Heidel. Acting as a hockey goalie. Bounced 6 feet in front of home plate. Threw up pellets, and Heidel had to scramble to keep that ball in front of him. Actually gloved it cleanly. Run it to 2-2. McDonald sends this one for a ride. Looking up is Collins, but that one's gone. 6th home run of the year for Zach McDonald, makes it an 8-6 ball game. The entire at-bat, Oakland worked away from McDonald, finally left one up over the center of the plate, and McDonald sent it for a ride. Miami strikes back within 2. Now Cooper Weiss steps into the batter's box. Oh, 2. One and one here to Weiss. And if you couldn't see that ball leave your screen, that home run from Zach McDonald traveled 448 feet. Now behind the outfield walls here, about 40 feet back, they have nets to protect the walkway for pedestrians walking, as college's campus typically have pedestrians walking around. And that hit the net on a fly. A no-doubter. 2-2. Cooper Weiss fouls one back. And not to minimize Zach McDonald's home run at all, but the wind is blowing out to left center field. 2-2. Off speed, the changeup gets Cooper Weiss out in front of it for the third and final out. But Miami gets 2 back on the big fly from the center fielder, Zach McDonald, with his 6th home run of the season. We head to the 5th here on Love and Honor Live. 8-6 our score in the top half of the fifth. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live on Chatterbox Sports. Due up for Oakland, Reggie Bussey in the top half of the order. New arm to tell you about, it's Nick Vardavis. This will be Vardavis' 9th appearance on the season. He's sporting a 9.24 ERA, 12 2/3 innings pitched. He struck out 11. He's given up 13 earned runs. He's in relief for Lawson Blackmore, who's done a nice job out of the pen. He was able to stop the bleeding after Tyler Chadwick gave up 8 runs in 1 2/3 innings pitched. Lawson Blackmore came in and closed the door. 2 1/3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. He had 5, mark that, 6 strikeouts out of the 7 batters he's faced. And I haven't stayed up to date with it, but at one point this Miami team was second in the nation in strikeouts per 9 innings. Now the catch-22 of that was they were dead last out of 260-plus Division I programs and walks per 9 innings. But you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's what the analytics department calls fielder independent pitching. So Reggie Bussey, he walked his last time up. Take it back to the first inning when he had, could have been the biggest play of the game thus far, the 3-run triple. Nick Vardavis, a true freshman for Miami. Went to North Canton Hoover High School. Misses upstairs, bringing the count to 2-1. Though he's given up 13 earned runs this year, those 13 runs have come in just 2 appearances. Gave up 8 earned runs against Indiana and 5 against Wright State, both in midweek action. Other than that, he's been flawless, including 2 innings of work this weekend against Northern Illinois. Gets Bussey to offer at the 3-1. Tries to hold up the swing, went too far. Called by the home plate umpire, Jay Myers. Count is now full. The payoff pitch, the southpaw to Bussey. Called strike 3. Late call by Myers. And Vardavis puts down the first batter he sees. That's the 10th strikeout this game for Miami. "13 outs, 10 Ks. Drew Collins comes to the plate. Speaking of which, he struck out last time. Vardavis falls behind Collins. Collins puts everything into every swing. He gets cocked up almost like a spinning top at the plate. Barrel pointed at the pitcher. Shoulder turned in. One hops Cooper Weiss, who fields it off a backhand, throws it across the diamond, not in time. Collins beats out the one hopper to Weiss. So John Loninger steps in with one aboard and one away. Official score says that is a hit. For Drew Collins, his second of the sorts, all the way back in the first inning when led the game off. He had a two-hopper in the 6-hole. Cooper Weiss backhanded it but had no play at first base. Once again, 2 hops, this time getting by Cooper Weiss for a base knock. And out of the now 11 hits that Oakland has today, nearly half of them have been almost identical from one another. Hitting the turf and letting it run between Evan Applewick and Cooper Weiss on the left side of the infield. Gabe Lux steps in. He's ran the gamut. Struck out, walked, singled, came around, and scored. Nick Vardavis, lefty on lefty, looking to induce a ground ball. Vardavis struggling to find the strike zone here today, which isn't his MO. Now, if you look at the 2 games and the 2 appearances, which he did struggle, he walked 3 batters in each appearance. But other than that lauded Indiana and Wright State game, just 1 walk on the season. He comes back on the 2-0 to find the strike zone. It's 2-1. Showing bunt offers, the back pick towards Steven Krause over at first base. Gets away from him, and Drew Collins doesn't stop around third as he comes in to score. So the bunt try from Gabe Lux comes up empty. The throw down to first gives the opportunity for Drew Collins to take third. And then after it is beamed off of Loninger's side and trickles towards the first base dugout, Collins comes around and is plated. Two, can't come back down to earth. Run it full. Looks like we might have a nosebleed out at first base. Loninger plugging that up. The payoff pitch. Running on the pitch, Loninger is going to have to retreat back to first on the foul ball. Wind picking up speed here at McKee Field. As you see the American flag in center field, really getting after it. Loninger moving. Chopper out beyond Vardavis. Going to be a tough play at first. Great job by Blake Buzzio on the bang-bang play. So a 4-3 put out. But the scorebook doesn't indicate how close it was. And that's the one thing about turf that has kind of changed the game, is on grass you never see a play like that. Ball that bounces 15 feet, 16 feet in the air, and all you can do is just sit back and wait. Buzzio does a nice job getting rid of the ball quickly. Speaking of Buzzio, he blocks up the throw from Vardavis. Thomas Green's at the plate. He struck out looking his last time. Trickled out to Cooper Weiss. He comes up, throws it on the run over to Steven Krause. And that concludes things here in the top half of the 5th. Oakland plates a run on 2 hits. It's 9-6. To the bottom of the 5th we go here at McKee Field at Hayden Park. New arm to tell you about as the Johnny Allstaff continues. It's Jake Mathodis. Mathodis, this will be his 7th appearance on the season. He's only got 3 innings pitched. He's got a 36 ERA. He's given up 12 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. And with a lefty on the mound, they'll take Brian Zapp out of the lineup. And in to hit will be Rylan Zabarowski. We mentioned Zabarowski was slated earlier today to start for Miami. Was a late scratch, and now you're seeing him pinch hit. Zabarowski, pound for pound, the best bat in this Miami lineup. 317, 6'6", 235 pounds. The redshirt sophomore from Gilbert, Arizona. Mathodis comes set. Breaking ball's in there for a called strike. Ryland had a hit in every game against Northern Illinois this past weekend. Went 4 for 11, including a home run. Takes the 0-1 upstairs. He's got 8 home runs already on the season. He's only played in 16 games. Missed a full weekend series due to a concussion. And the 1-1 is sent for a ride out to left field. Zabarowski comes off the bench. And now we'll have a trip around the bases. Number 9 for the big guy. So Miami gets the run back, and it's 9-7. If you're new to college baseball, this is midweek baseball. High scoring affairs, lots of pitching changes. We've seen clean play in the field, though. Mathodis is 1-0, is fouled back. Novak, 2 for 2 at the plate today. Seeing the ball well on this Tuesday. Mentioned earlier, this will be our first of 5 broadcasts this week. Tomorrow, 11 Honor Boys will be back out playing against Wright State. And the softball team will have MAC conference play this weekend against Northern Illinois. The payoff pitch to David Novak. Misses low and in. So a home run and a walk to begin things here in the bottom half of the fifth. So with the lefty on the mound, we'll see another change. Nate Stone, who got the start against right-handed pitching, will hit the pine, and Christian Tejada, the right-handed swinger, will step in. And the interesting part about Christian Tejada coming in for Nate Stone is just the similarities that the two have had. Tejada puts one on the ground on the bunt attempt. It's foul, 0-1. Tejada, similar to Stone, had an injury early in the year last year after being an everyday player 2 seasons ago, and is working his way back into the lineup here in 2023. The 0-1. Called strike. 78 on the gun from the southpaw. The curveball bounces in front of the turf, takes a sharp hit off of Heindl's leg, and scurries its way to the backstop, rattling up against the padding. And Novak will take second with ease on the wild pitch. The 1-2 offering. Methodist will just check on Novak. Novak has yet to attempt a stolen base, though he does wear the sliding mitt just in case. One-two misses up and in. Tejada in 26 at-bats has 6 hits. This is his 13th appearance this year. Tejada awaits the 2-2. Infield playing straight up. Off the end of the bat over to Gabe Lux, who just bodies it in front of him. Picks it up, scurries over to first for the second out. Rather, the first. So Steven Krause steps into the batter's box. Working on an 0 for 2. Very aggressive hitter Steven Krause is. Krause first pitch swing and chops it over towards Coach Hayden, the third base coach's box. Methodist. 0-1 pitch taken for a called strike. Catches a lot of the plate. Krause couldn't pull the trigger. 0-2. Squeaks one through the right side of the field. They saw Steven Krause off, but with the shift moving to the left side of the infield, Krause has a single. And every John Smoltz in the world is leaping for joy as someone has foiled the shift here in the bottom half of the 5th. Blake Buzzio steps into the batter's box. He's reached a board twice, has yet to put the ball in play. More importantly, David Novak comes around and scores on the play, making it 9-8. You ask any hitting coach, any batter in America, he'll take well-placed over well-hit any day of the week. Buzzio shows bunt, pops it up. Fouls it straight off the net here. Methodist comes set. In the turf. Up and moving, Steven Krause tries to move on the ball in the turf. Heidel fields it perfectly, throws a dime out to second base, and Krause is out at second for the second out. So the tying run is wiped off the base paths. (3-1). And there's the base hit from Blake Buzzio. And he's having a nice day at the plate. Evan Applewick steps in. Lined out to right field his last time. And it looks like we might see a new pitcher. And we are going to see a new pitcher for the Golden Grizzlies. So we'll step aside. It's 9-8 here at McKee Field at Hayden Park. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live. Welcome back to McKee. It's the bottom of the 5th, 9-8's our score. Miami at the plate. And a new arm to tell you about. It's Caleb Fuller, the red shirt senior from Fairfax, Iowa. This will be his 5th appearance on the season. He's got a 6.0 ERA. 3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 4 Ks. He's allowing about 2 base runners an inning. And with Buzzio on first, Evan Applewick will come to the plate with 2 away. Since practically the second inning, all the offense has come from Miami, but they're still trying to dig themselves out of a hole. In fact, Buzzio over at first base represents the tying run. Buzzio slides back into first. And Brandon Heidel does a fantastic job behind home plate. The 1-0. Evan Applewick takes it for a called strike. But what's curious enough is Brandon Heidel wearing AirPods behind home plate? It looks like as though he is. Surprised that's not illegal. The 1-1 misses up and away. I've seen hard ball. You're not allowed wearing headphones out on the field. 2-1. Two. Buzzio's up and moving. Heidel's throw out to second base on the money. And Buzzio got a great jump, but Heidel just throws a dime. And Miami goes down. 9-8 our score. We head to the top half of the sixth here at McKee. Ian Cleary, Luke Mallinger, Peter Jelinek due up for Oakland here in the top half of the sixth inning. Nick Vardavis out on the mound once again for Miami. Thank you for joining us back in. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. Ian Cleary is having a nice day at the plate. 2 doubles, a walk. He has scored twice. Well, he was stranded his last time after he popped one over the outfield wall for a double. With the left-handed swinger up, Buzzio is playing about 3 feet into the outfield cutout of the turf. Chopped out to Cooper Weiss. He's rolling to his left, throws across the diamond for the first out. Now you'll see the third baseman, Malminger. 2 strikeouts and a base knock. Miami retires the first batter of an inning for just the 3rd time this ball game. And Malminger answers back, flaring one out to right field off the end of the bats. One hops Benji Brokemond, and Oakland with another base runner. Peter Jelinek steps in. Called strike on the lefty-on-lefty matchup. Jelinek, the starting second baseman, has shown a nice glove today as he caps a ball that trickles on back to the backstop. And then you'll see Evan Applewick shift over to the right side of the infield from third base. The 0-2 is fouled, and we'll do it again. Vardavis comes set. Curveball, late decision by Jelinek. He comes up empty, and Vardavis gets the strikeout here for the second out. Brandon Heidel, who we just gave flowers to Jelinek for what he's done out at second base this game. Brandon Heidel has been impressive behind the dish, as he just concluded the end of the fifth, throwing out Blake Buzzio at second. Two and 0 is the count. Chopping over to Evan Applewick. He'll get it on the first bounce, throws it across the diamond. Steven Krause stretches for the third out. A clean inning here in the top half of the sixth. We head to the bottom. It's 9-8. Nine, 1-2 due up for Miami here in the bottom of the sixth inning at McKee. Non-conference action between the Miami RedHawks and the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Caleb Fuller out for another inning of work. Applewick sporting an 0-for-2. He lined out to right field. Hit a frozen rope out to Loninger. His last time up. Miami 4-16 on the season thus far. Their 4 wins coming one against Siena, 1 in a midweek game against the University of Cincinnati, and then 2 just this past weekend against Southern Illinois. Looking to come back and grab win number 5. Oakland 7-10. They've got some impressive wins on their schedule. A win over Kansas, Wichita State, and Michigan highlight that. Oakland starts Horizon League play this weekend. They'll go to Youngstown State. Applewick awaits a 3-0. And Applewick will take first. Turning over the lineup for Benji Brokmund and the RedHawks. And you got to wonder, in a 1-run ball game, Benji, who's scored an 0 for 2 and a walk, he's got speed. If they're going to tell him to lay one down, especially with Zach McDonald on deck. Fuller comes set. Brokmund tries to lay one down and get a hit on it, not giving himself up. The breaking ball is fouled straight back. Fuller checks on the runner. Almost overthrows Lux over there at first. Great reaction by the first baseman. Fuller comes set once again. Really keeping tabs on Evan Applewick. Applewick on the year, no stolen base attempts, and maybe they're just trying to see if Brokmund will show a bunt. He's 0-1 swinging. Comes up empty. He falls behind 0-2. Fuller, the 0-2 is a slider that gets away. And Evan Applewick tries to read the ball in the dirt. Almost scurried too far away from first base. Idle opts to hold on to it. 1-2 to the leadoff man, Benji Brokmund. Hit into center field. Going back is Bussey, but he's underneath it. He'll glove it for the first out. And now we'll see Zach McDonald. Zach McDonald's last trip to the plate, he sent one 448 feet to left field. That not only cleared the outfield wall, but nearly cleared the protective net for the walkway, almost 40 feet behind the base. Out and running is Applewick on the dirt ball, and he'll take second base. Just got too far away from Brandon Heidel. So thought that Benji Brokmund might sacrifice himself to move Applewick into scoring position. He doesn't, but they move him up 90 feet on the wild pitch. The 1-0 to McDonald. Fouled back, hung a breaking ball. And McDonald just missed. McDonald shows bunt on the 1-1. McDonald has brought in 17 RBIs this season, which was tied with Rylan Zabarowski before he sent one over the outfield wall in his pinch hit attempt. The 2-1. Off the end of the bat, McDonald way out in front of it. Now, McDonald has been fantastic at the plate this season. His one bugaboo is he does strike out in nearly a third of his at-bats. The 2-2. And he goes down swinging on the 2-2 breaking ball. Now the shortstop, Cooper Weiss. Sporting an 0 for 3. Tying run 180 feet away in the form of Evan Applewick. Rylan Zabarowski on deck. So even if he can extend the inning and keep applying the pressure, in between the shortstop and second baseman, Peter Jelinek gets it to his right, throws a one-hopper over to Gabe Lux for the third and final out. Great play in the shift by Peter Jelinek. And they get the leadoff hitter on, but they don't bring him across. To the 7th inning we go here on Love and Honor Live. Top of the 7th here at McKee Field at Hayden Park. You're watching Love and Honor Live on Chatterbox Sports. Reggie Bussey to the plate. Sporting a 1 for 2. He's also walked in this game. 3-run triple all the way back in the first inning. He takes a first pitch for a called strike from Nick Vardavis, who's out on the mound once again for Miami. So just to recap how we got here, 6 runs in the top of the first from Oakland. They then added on with 2 in the top half of the second. The only run they've scratched across was on a back pick attempt back in the 5th inning. That's their 9 runs. Miami has piecemealed 8, 3 in the first, 1 in the third, 2 in each the 4th and the 5th inning. And that's where we're at. 9-8 here in the top half of the 7th. Nick Vardavis with a 1-2 count on Reggie Bussey. Wind has shifted once again to dead center as Vardavis bounces one that scurries away and goes towards the third base dugout. I want to see a batter just half-heartedly swing at a pitch after he sees it go all the way to the third. 2-2. This is downstairs. The payoff pitch to Bussey. Swung on and missed. Vardavis puts down the 9-hole. So we'll see Drew Collins step up to the plate. Drew Collins with 2 base hits in this ball game, almost the exact same. Put it right towards Cooper Weiss and beat it out with his legs. Collins came around and scored back in the 5th inning after a pickoff attempt scurried away from Steven Krause over at first. He came all the way around from second base on that play. Check swing is chopped down the third base line, but it'll be killed foul. Vardavis misses on the outside. The freshman comes set. Steven Krause, 6'4" over at first base, reaches up and snags away a hit from Drew Collins for the second out. Now, it's not a requirement for height over there at first, but it's always well welcomed. Not just for plays like that, but for oftentimes errant throws. Can reach up and down the line while keeping a foot on the bag. John Loninger steps in. 1 for 3 on the day, has scored twice. He pops one up into shallow right field. Going to be a tough play as Benji Brokman nor Blake Buzzio can come in and catch the pop-up. Loninger with the bloop double. Blake Buzzio got on his horse, trotting out in that Bermuda's triangle that is between the first baseman, the second baseman, and the right fielder. Benji Brokman from right field couldn't come in to make the play either. And Oakland looking to give themselves a little more breathing room here in the top half of the 7 if they can get a base hit from their 3-hole hitter, Gabe Lux. It looks like we might see a new swinger. So Lux being a left-handed batter, facing a lefty and Nick Vardavis. They're going to go to the bench to get a right-hander. The pinch hitter will be Jared Miller. Jared Miller coming into today in 15 appearances is sporting a 149 batting average. He's got 7 hits on 47 at-bats, 10 RBIs. Miller's first pitch swinging against Vardavis. Comes up empty. It's 0-1. Miller has just 1 hit in his last 20 at-bats, as he falls behind 0-2. Though if he can find the outfield, he'll give his team a 2-run lead. The 0-2 freezes Jared Miller. He comes off the bench and goes down looking. It's stretch time here at McCabe Field. We'll be back on Love and Honor Live. Bottom of the 7th. Ben Paul on the bump for Oakland. The junior from Columbus, Ohio, out for his 5th appearance on the season. Paul, in 5 innings pitched, has given up 9 earned runs. He's sporting a 16 ERA. So he's in relief for Caleb Fuller. It's 9-8 here. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. Quick plug, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Like the stream. It helps the stream reach more people, helps our channel grow. If you like daily content, please, we invite you to watch Off the Bench, hosted by Thom Brennaman, Monday through Friday, 10 to 12. Rylan Zabarowski steps up to the plate for the 2nd time today. He came off the bench and hit a home run. We mentioned a late scratch, and what a way to assert yourself into the lineup. Come off the bench and hit your 8th home run of the season. One and one here to Paul. Rylan Zabarowski comes up empty. It's 1 and 2. Paul comes set. Zabarowski fouls it off the mitt of Heidel, and we'll do it again. Zabarowski, an imposing figure in the batter's box, 6'6", 235. The redshirt sophomore on his first year with Miami. The 1-2. Off the knob of his bat. He wants to stay in the batter's box. Didn't even pretend to play it off. We'll do it once more here at 1 and 2. Slider, good leave by Zabarowski. Paul with a competitive pitch, trailing away from the right-handed hitter. Two. Called strike 3 on Zabarowski. And Paul comes into the game and strikes out the most imposing figure in the Miami lineup. So David Novak steps up. Miami still chasing 1 run. Got a runner in scoring position for the top half of the order last inning. Weren't able to bring Evan Applewick across. Looking to change that here in the 7th. Slider moving away from Novak. And what a day at the plate David Novak has had. 2 for 2, has walked, came around and scored twice. Coming in today, he was batting 190, so a big sigh of relief for the all-MAC selection a year ago. One, two. Up and in. Christian Tejada awaits in the on-deck circle. The Novak awaits the 2-2 from Paul. Out to left center field. This is sent for a ride. It'll be extra bases. Does it have a shot to tie the game up? It does! Scraping the top of the wall, David Novak ties this game at 9. What a day for the catcher. David Novak waited for the perfect time to get his first home run of the year. And we have a new ball game, folks. And Christian Tejada on the first pitch is awarded first base as he takes one off the thigh. Off the bat of David Novak. That didn't look like it had a shot, but the wind is blowing directly out to center field, and Novak sent it up in the air, and it hung long enough to scrape the top of the wall and make this a 9-9 ball game. So Steven Krause steps in with a runner on first and one away. Official distance on that home run was 403 feet. Steven Krause awaits the 1-0, fouls it. We'll see if Tejada is up and moving with one away. Tejada's over 1 on stolen base attempts this year. He's trying to time, pause, delivery. Miami has fallen into the trend. You've seen so many college teams over the past few years start to adopt this, what was taught to me as the new school lead. As the traditional was, you took your standard lead and then you took off when the pitcher delivered to home plate. The 1-2 is checking over on Tejada. Nowadays, they tell you to shorten up that lead and try to hop and time when the pitcher delivers to home. And if you get it right, you got the green light as Krause takes a pitch downstairs for ball 2. Infield shifted over to the left side. Krause fouls it back, and he gets his money worth at the plate. In fact, he's been to the plate 30 times this year. He's only taken 1 walk. 2-2 is fouled back. Krause voted on as a captain of this squad by his peers. Looking to lead the RedHawks to a lead if he can find the gap. Fouled off the screen, and he's working it at bat here. The 2-2. Ball misses low and in. And they actually call a balk. So Tejada moves to second. So it'll still be 2-2. Surprised that Krause didn't offer at that 2-2. If you have the wherewithal, a balk similar to what you'd see in an NFL game on an encroachment or an offsides call, it basically gives you a free shot. The offense can take the best possible outcome. So they teach you, go ahead and hack when you hear that balk call. 2-2. Did not offer. So it hit his hand, and they're saying he did not swing. And they're saying it hit his hand, not his knob. So he did turn his shoulders, did move his hands towards the pitch. The barrel did not cross home plate. And they're saying it did not hit the knob. So no swing, no knob. It's a hit by pitch, and Steven Krause is awarded first base. So after the home run from David Novak, Ben Paul has hit consecutive batters, and now Jay Myers, Lyle Travis, and Aaron Ranchlaw are going to talk this one out. And they end up indeed awarding first base to Steven Krause. So the go-ahead run is at second base, one away for Blake Buzzio. And at the top of the broadcast, we mentioned how Blake Buzzio is not an everyday starter. In fact, this is just his third start of the season. He got his first hit in this ball game. That was his last time to the plate. He's reached a board every time he's come up. Hit by pitch, a walk, and a base knock. And now Buzzio is looking for his first RBI of the season. And what a time it could come in. Paul comes set, kicks. Buzzio looking to lay down the bunt. Fouls it. Getting the sign from Heidel. Paul kicks, deals, misses downstairs. Tejada on second. Krause on first. Infield playing straight up, looking for the double play. The 1-1 offering as Paul comes set. Heidel sets up on the outside of the plate. Here's the offering to Buzzio. Check swing. He did offer. Called strike even if it wasn't. 1-2. Evan Applewick awaits in the on-deck circle. Popped up to right field. Underneath it is Loninger. Tejada's not tagging up. Loninger's underneath it for the second out. Tejada stays put. And now Evan Applewick. So score that, a pop out to right field. And we'll see the starting third baseman, Evan Applewick. 0 for 2, walked his last time, hit a frozen rope out to Loninger back in the fourth. Looking to get his first hit of the ball game. First pitch swinging. Couldn't catch up to the fastball. It's 0-1. The 0-1 misses outside. Applewick, despite having just a .241 batting average this year, is second on the team in on-base percentage, .465. The 1-1 misses up and in. Benji Brokman, the leadoff man, is on deck. Two pitchers up and working in Oakland's bullpen, but it comes down to this at-bat right here. 2 on, 2 away, a 2-1 count to the 9-hole, Evan Applewick, in a tie ball game. 3-1's the count. Applewick off the end of his bat. Fouls it. Runs the count full. So now both Christian Tejada, Steven Krause will be up and moving on the pitch. A base knock will score Tejada. A ball in the gap will score Krause. Infield shifted to the left side. The payoff pitch. Ben Paul. And Applewick swings, coming up empty and going down on strikes. Miami threatens to take the lead, but they tie it up thanks to the big fly from David Novak, his first of the year. We head to the 8th, a brand new ball game. It's 9-9. Top of the 8th inning here at McKee Field at Hayden Park. 9-9 our score. And 2 up for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Thomas Green, Ian Cleary, and Luke Malminger. First pitch swinging. Green, Cooper Weiss on the run. Throws across his body off the turf. Steven Krause scoops it up for the first out. One pitch, one out. Exactly what you draw up after you tie the ball game up. Oakland has just scratched across 1 run since the 2nd inning. They jumped out to a quick 8-3 lead. And Miami has slowly clawed their way back and has now tied the game up. Heading down the left field line, this could be extra bases. It is. It bounces once over the wall, hits off the foul pole, and it's going to be a double for Ian Cleary. His 3rd double of the game. Two to the left field, 1 to right. That ball hit off, I believe, the foul pole when it bounced up. Christian Tejada had to quickly scramble. Luckily, it was hit to left field, so Cleary couldn't take 3rd base with ease. But the Golden Grizzlies have a man in scoring position with 1 away. Luke Malminger, 2 hits on the day. He's also struck out twice. Fouled back. Ian Cleary has been, without a doubt, the most important bat in this Oakland lineup. A strikeout, but they don't have a play for Malminger as it squirts away from David Novak. The curveball heads back towards the 3rd base dugout. Novak scrambles to it quickly, but no play as he'd have to make a 130-foot throw to Steven Krause at first. So put runners on the corner and 1 away for Peter Jelinek. And the left-hander's not going to get a chance.
For the Grizzlies at the plate, number 35, Kevin Krill.
So Kevin Krill, the red shirt freshman, comes in batting .133 on the season. 2 hits and 15 at-bats. And they're going to have a talk with Nick Vardavis, and it looks like we're going to see a new pitcher for Miami. So we'll step aside. It's 9-9 here in the top half of the 8th. You're watching Love and Honor Live. Runners on the corner for Martin Sosna, who's coming into relief Nick Vardavis. So Vardavis went 3 1/3 innings pitch. He gave up 1 run. It was earned. He's on the hook for 2 more. Martin Sosna, this will be his 9th appearance on the season. 13 1/3 innings pitch. He's struck out 18. He's given up 6 earned run. He's walked 8. The junior from Chicago, Illinois. Pitched in 8 games last year and held opponents scoreless in 5 of his 8 appearances. He's looking to hold Oakland scores tonight. So Kevin Krill, the right-handed swinger, coming in 2 for 15 on the year, looking to get hit number 3 in the biggest of moments. First pitch from Sosna misses, low and away. Sosna had an inning of relief work over the weekend. Did not give up a run. Walked 2, struck out 1. Gets Krill to chase at the 1-0. Ian Cleary on third. Malminger over at first. Sosna misses in the dirt. Novak does a fantastic job at keeping it in front of him, keeping the runners at bay. Miami with 1 away is in double play depth. Surprisingly, Evan Applewick is playing 2 feet behind third base. So the play on paper for Applewick is going to be to turn 2. Sosna comes set. 3-1's in there for a called strike. Waiting on deck is the catcher, Brandon Heidel. The payoff pitch. Up and running is Malminger. This is fouled, and actually it's a base knock to right field. Oakland takes the lead. So acting like a hit and run on the 3-2, Malminger goes from first to third. Ian Cleary scores. And Oakland regains the lead here in the top half of the 8th. Kevin Krill, who had just 2 hits and 15 at-bats this year, comes off the bench cold and delivers at the biggest moment of this game. So now Oakland's going to try and go for a little more speed. Heidel shows bunt. Evan Applewick comes crashing in. Taken. Showing bunt again. This plays out in front of home plate. The squeeze works. Oakland takes a 2-run lead. It's not every day here in Division I college baseball you see the squeeze still implemented, but Oakland plays it to perfection on the safety squeeze, and they take an 11-9 lead. So Reggie Bussey, who struck out his last 2 trips to the plate, steps up. Liam Pollock's out at second base. Pinch running for Kevin Krill. Called strike, runs it to 2-2. Check swing. They're going to look to see if he went. They said he did not. Lyle Travis said Bussey did not go. Pollock's at second. Bussey goes down swinging. Oakland regains the lead. They score 2 runs, one on the hit from Kevin Krill and the other on the squeeze of Brandon Heidel. 11-9, we head to the bottom half of the 8th here on Love and Honor Live. Top of the order due up for Miami here in the bottom half of the 8th here on Love and Honor Live. It's Tuesday non-conference action between the RedHawks and the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Benji Brokman, Zach McDonald, Cooper Weiss tee off against Ben Paul. I'm Reed Mouse here watching Chatterbox Sports, Love and Honor Live. And this game has been back and forth. or I should say at least the last inning has, as Miami ties it up in the bottom half of the 7th to make it 9-9, and then Oakland quickly regains the lead, scoring 2 runs after only scoring 1 in the past 5 innings. Benji Brokemond, 0 for 3 at the plate. Chops one out to the second baseman, Jelinek. He's got speed. Jelinek throws it over to Malmanger, who's now playing first base for a 4-3 putout. And we'll see Zach McDonald. McDonald already left the yard today. He struck out swinging his last time. McDonald saw a pitch he liked, offered at the 1-0, but came up empty. Slider misses in the turf. We'll do it at 2-1. Cooper Weiss on deck. Rylan Zabarowski in the hole. So the teeth of this Miami lineup. And Zach McDonald has a base knock, looking for 2. He rounds first base sharply. He'll have second. He'll slow up as the throw from the left fielder Collins gets back in the infield. Collins knew he had to make a play to keep McDonald off of second base. Comes in sliding, hits off of his leg. I was able to get it in before McDonald could take third. So the second hit for McDonald in the ball game is the second extra base hit. He adds onto his home run with a double. And we've got Cooper Weiss. Cooper Weiss has big fly potential. 3 home runs on the year. And he lays one down on the turf. Ben Paul moves over to his right, and Malmanger loses the ball on the tag. Put runners on the corner for Rylan Zabarowski. Cooper Weiss makes Ben Paul move to his right. And actually, Malmanger makes an athletic play moving off of the bag to catch it, slap the tag on Cooper Weiss, but loses the ball in the process. Aaron Ratchlow talking with the Oakland coaching staff. Short discussion. So the tying run at first, the go-ahead run at the plate in the form of Rylan Zabarowski. He's already left the yard today. He's done it 9 times this year. Can he do it once more? On 2 separate occasions, he's had multiple home runs in a ball game. And the season opener against Georgia Tech, then a few weeks later, beating Cincinnati. Paul comes set. Zabarowski fouls it straight back, falls behind 0-2. Zabarowski has struck out 17 times and 63 at-bats. McDonald, 90 feet away at third. Cooper Weiss over at first. Cooper Weiss up and moving. Zabarowski pops it up in the infield. Weiss scrambles back to the bag, and Zabarowski pops up to Malmanger for the second out. So now it's David Novak, and no one in the RedHawks lineup has had a better day than him. 3 hits, a 3 for 3. He's also walked. The last time he came up, just last inning, he tied the ball game up at 9 with a big fly. Cooper Weiss up and running. He is thrown out at second base for the 3rd out. And a base running miscue gets Oakland off the hook, and what a day Brandon Heidel has had behind the dish. We head to the 9th. Top of the 9th here at McKean. Martin Sosna back out for another inning of work. He'll be facing off against the top of Oakland's lineup. Drew Collins, John Loninger, then Gabe Lux. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. One more plug. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the stream, look around, gander around, take a little look. See if you like what we are constantly putting out. This will be our first of 5 games here in Oxford this week. We'll be back tomorrow as Miami takes on Wright State. And we'll be back on the softball diamond this weekend to see the RedHawks in conference play against Northern Illinois. Drew Collins awaits the 1-0. Miami was able to get the tying run aboard last inning, but couldn't scratch any runs across. David Novak will lead off the bottom half of the 9th for Miami. Sosna looking to keep it right here at 11-9. 3-0 finds the strike zone. And he's got to work all the way back. Leadoff walk for Oakland. And I wonder if they're going to play some small ball. Drew Collins has a lot of speed out on those base paths. See if they opt to bunt John Loninger. Loninger working on a 2 for 4 rather. He's walked, singled, and a double. First pitch taking. We're actually seeing a new bat in the lineup. It's Reagan Paulina. Paulina comes into this one, 167 hitter. 4 hits and 24 at-bats. He takes the 1-0, a breaking ball for a called strike. Collins up and running. He'll take second with ease. Novak doesn't even try a throw down to second. And Collins moves up 90 feet. It's 2-1. And it seemed as though they snuffed it out with a pitch out. Just Novak couldn't find the handles on the baseball. Now Paulina will show bunt, puts it on the turf. Fielding his position, Martin Snosna throws it over to first. For the first out, Collins 90 feet away. So good sacrifice by Paulina off the bench. This gets away from Novak. Play at the plate. The throw into Martin Sosna is mishandled, and Collins scores. For the third time today, the Golden Grizzlies score on a ball to the backstop. This time, it gives them a 3-run lead in the ninth. So a walk, a stolen base, a sacrifice bunt, and then a wild pitch gives Oakland a 12-9 lead. Jared Miller back up again. He struck out his last time. Pinch hit in the 7th inning for Gabe Lux. Looking for his 8th hit of the year. Chokes up on the bat on the 2-2 and goes down swinging.
The next batter, number 2, Thomas Green.
That is the 16th strikeout for Miami in this ballgame. Thomas Green shows bunt. Pulls it back, called strike anyways. This pitching staff has continued their tear of mowing down pitchers on strikes. And the foul tip gives strikeout number 17 for Miami. Bottom of the ninth, and the RedHawks have their work cut out for them. They're down 12-9. To the bottom of the ninth, we go here at McKee Field at Hayden Park. 12-9 our score. Brett Hagan on the bump for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Due up for Miami as they look to come back down 3. David Novak, Christian Tejada, then Steven Krause. Hagen on the season. This will be his 6th appearance. He has started 3 games. He's got a 7.78 ERA, 19 2/3 innings pitched, 14 Ks. He's walked 10. Novak with a home run his last time. So looking at the team stats going into this bottom of the 9th inning, Miami has struck out 17 while only striking out 6 times. And they have outnumbered Oakland Big Flies, Oakland home runs 3-0. Yet they find themselves down here 3 runs in the bottom half of the 9th. Hagen. Rocks, kicks, deals. Novak pops one down the right field line, giving chase as Loninger runs out of room. And it's 1-1. Hagen has a slow delivery to the plate. Kind of meanders before kicking and dealing. Gets the sign from Heidel. Shimmies. Here's the 1-1. Novak down the third base line this time. One and 2 is our count. Hagen upstairs. Novak didn't even think about it. Novak with a fantastic day at the plate today. A home run, 2 singles, walked. He scored 3 times. The 2-2 is popped up in foul territory. Out of room. And out of play. So we'll do it once more at 2-2. So the tying runs in the hole. Of course, assuming Novak and Tejada can get on. Fouled back. Novak working a great at-bat here. And I made a lot to do about Novak's day at the plate, but it's well welcomed as he was first team All-League a season ago for his work behind the plate and at the plate. Chops it out to Thomas Green at shortstop, 2 hops. He throws it on the run for the first out. 6-3 put out. And we'll see Christian Tejada. Tejada, since pinch hitting back in the 5th inning, grounded out to third base and was hit by a pitch his last time. Now it's back in the 7th inning when Novak tied the game up with a home run. And gave Miami their first time all ball game to take the lead. Tejada made it to second base, but they couldn't scratch him across. They threatened in the 8th, and once again, left runners aboard. Miami has left 6 base runners on today. 4 have come in the previous 2 innings. Tejada chops a high bouncer over to Malminger. Over at first. He gloves it, scrambles over to first. For the second out. New hitter. It's Parker Lester, a mainstay in the starting lineup, trying to jolt this Miami team with 2 away in the bottom of the 9th, down 3. Hagan gets Lester to offer at the first pitch. It's in the turf. He comes up empty. Lester batting .297 on the season. He's got 22 hits and 74 at-bats, 7 extra base hits. And Hagan's working away, which leads into Parker Lester's tendencies. When he sends a ball in the air, it goes to left field. 0-2. Base hit right up the middle. Off the bench, falls behind 0-2, and does the job at just continuing the inning. And that's the only thing in Miami's mind. Not coming back down 3. It's just one batter further, one batter more. And now you'll see the freshman, Tommy Harrison. Harrison, a true freshman, batting .152 on the year. Graduate of St. Ed's up there in Cleveland. Great athletic program all around. Lester takes second base. They'll let him have it. Lester's 6th stolen base on the season, and he thought about taking off an extra 90. And they're going to give it to him. Not worried about that run at all. Harrison takes the 0-1 downstairs, 1-1. If Harrison can reach a board, Miami can at least bring the tying run to the plate. Hagan on the 1-1. Called strike, and Harrison has fallen behind 1-2. Harrison is 0 for his last 10. His last hit came in a 2-hit day against Toledo in the Sunday affair a week and a half ago. Bounces in front of the plate. And I've given Brandon Heidel his flowers this ballgame, but he has been fantastic behind the dish. Two and two. Hagan comes set. Check swung. Tommy Harrison did offer it, and that's a strikeout to conclude things here today. Oakland wins 12-9 as they improve their record to 8-10 in this midweek non-conference affair. Miami falls to 4-17. Tyler Chadwick will get the loss in this one. I don't know who's officially going to get the win for Oakland. They had a Johnny Allstaff, so I guess it's just Ben Paul, who was on the mound after the game was all knotted up. Oakland scores 6 runs in the first, 2 in the second, and then their offense pitter-patters for 5 innings. Miami comes back, roars all the way. They tie the game up at 9s apiece. Miami then falls after giving up 2 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th. We'll be back tomorrow. Miami will host Wright State in non-conference action, the second time they'll be playing them this year. So stay tuned, as this has been another edition of Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports.